Hi, my name is Christine Singletary. This is my oral presentation for PAD 4391, Foundations of Emergency Management, taught by Dr. Janet Dilling at Florida State University. My presentation is on liability issues and disasters. I chose to do my presentation on a specific disaster, the 1993 storm of the century. Being born and raised in Perry, the storm literally hit home. In March of 1993, I was a senior in high school and had friends that was affected by the storm. A disaster is defined as something that happens suddenly and causes much suffering or loss to many people, as something that has a very bad effect or result, a complete or terrible failure. A liability is something that is a hindrance or puts an individual or group at a disadvantage, or something that someone is responsible for, or something that increases the chance of something occurring. Liability may also refer in specific fields to legal liability, which is the legal obligation to pay debts, and to public liability, which is the part of the law of tort which focuses on civil wrongdoing. In the matter of liability in terms of disasters, we normally are referring to personal injury and loss of home or property. On March 12, 1993, the storm of the century struck the eastern United States, causing approximately $5.5 billion in damages. It was the fourth costliest storm in the U.S. history at that time. The hardest hit in North Florida was Taylor County, where 11 people died, 5 from one family. Most drowned after 9 to 12 foot tidal surges washed over their home. The National Weather Service had known for a couple days that a gigantic low-pressure system was moving eastward. Meteorologists predicted the storm would shift north and blast through Georgia and the Carolinas. The National Weather Service didn't issue its first warning for Florida's Gulf Coast until just before dawn on March 13th. By then, hurricane-force winds and storm surges already devastated the coastal communities of Deacle and Keaton Beaches in Taylor County. The forecasting computer models used in 1993 were about half as accurate in predicting severe storms as they are today. A new generation of weather satellites also is helping increase the lead time of detecting and forecasting potential storms. The storm was so devastating to Taylor County beach residents that 6 busloads eventually had to be evacuated. Severe winds hoisted an in-ground pool from its concrete casing and plopped it on a yard 2 houses away. A dozen beach houses were swept from their wooden pilings. Residents were allowed back into the beach 2 days later to sift through the rubble for personal belongings. Police blockades remained all week to prevent looting. The next day, about 250 county residents waited in line to file disaster relief applications with state and federal agencies. All planned on staying in Taylor County. The unnamed superstorm of 1993 impacted the entire state, causing catastrophic damages in 38 counties. The storm demonstrated the vulnerability of Florida to natural disasters and led to the passage of the Emergency Management Preparedness and Assistance Trust Fund. It's been over 20 years since the storm, but there are still visible markers of the damage it caused. At Deacle Beach, you can still see the pilings that were left after homes and the boardwalk were blown away. Of course, there have been advancements made in the weather reporting technology since 1993. In an article in the Gainesville Sun, the then director of Taylor County Emergency Management had this to say: "What we have in place today is so much different from back then. For one thing, we monitor the weather very closely now, and I receive updated spontaneous forecasting personally throughout the day. But I think the most important thing we've done is install a siren warning system. If we have a spontaneous event, we don't have the manpower to go door to door warning people. So we put sirens at Deagle Beach, Keaton Beach, and 2 in Steinhatchee. We have used them. I've had people complain saying they're smart enough to know when to leave, but I take responsibility for their lives, and when in doubt, I'll set them off. Then you decide if you want to stay. Those things alone should reduce the liability should a storm like this ever happen again.